Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and it's always great when we have these hearings and people on both sides of this dais agree on something. And I think that everybody in this room agrees that lowering the supply of energy increases the price. Lowering the supply of energy increases the price. So the question is, then why is the supply of energy decreasing, right? That should be the question we're talking about. Why is the supply of energy decreasing across this nation? As I talk to people back home, I grew up in one of the richest oil counties in the world, supplying the largest amount of oil in World War I from Butler County, Kansas. Where I grew up now is agriculture and oil and agriculture. This is an industry I follow every day. I'm inundated with people that have been in this business for 30, 40, 60 years and can't get financing now. Good, stable businesses. And you know why? It's the ESG rules, right? Mr. Nally, would you agree with me that if people are struggling to get financing to drill new wells, that it's going to decrease the supply of energy?
Well, yeah, I would agree that if there's less drilling, there's less supply, yes.
If there's less financing, it's hard to drill. Would you agree with me, stopping drilling on federal lands or stopping drilling in waters in the ocean, that if we make it harder for that to happen because of federal policy, that would decrease the supply of oil and natural gas?
Yes.
Okay. And then would you agree with me if there were less pipelines available to ship gas, natural gas or oil from Canada or from Alaska to the mainland, that would decrease the supply of energy?
Yes.
Yes, and you would agree with me that the policies of this White House have made all those instances true, that what I just said, the policies, more ESG, making it harder to get financing, stopping drilling on federal lands, shutting down pipelines would decrease the supply of energy. Rhetorical question. The answer is, of course, yes. Okay. Mr. Bryce, you have a unique resume here, and I want to talk about the social injustice of increased energy cost. That increased energy costs, how it disproportionately impacts senior citizens on fixed incomes, as well as that single mom. You know, one of the stories I would share with you as an obstetrician, a woman would have 10 to 12 visits to my office in rural Kansas. And when the price of gasoline got about $3 a gallon, magically they wanted to start spacing out their visits. Why? Because they were driving 30, 60, 90, 120, 150 miles to see me, and they couldn't afford the gasoline. This is an equity issue. The ultimate equity issue is energy costs, right? If you're paying high prices for your utilities, paying high prices for gasoline, it's a social injustice. Why does this White House want to increase the cost of gasoline at the pump? Why does this White House want to increase utility costs for hardworking Americans? Is this a social injustice? That's my question. And why do you think the White House wants to drive these prices up?
Well, sir, I can only speculate. But what I do know is that when you look across the country, and particularly at California and other places where this electrify everything push is underway, you're imposing regressive taxation on the working class, on people who don't live, as Jennifer Hernandez says, in the keyboard economy. The people who have to drive to work, they have to be there. The people who pump the gas, who pour the coffee, who serve the food, those are the people who are going to be hit the hardest. And as you point out, in rural America, those are also going to be the people who are hit hard. One other point, if I could, on the electrify everything push. Earlier in January, in the Federal Register, the Department of Energy published data showing that the cost of electricity on a per BTU basis is 4 times that of natural gas. So this push to electrify everything that is underway in California is just a form of regressive taxation. By prohibiting the use of natural gas in homes and businesses and forcing consumers to use electricity instead, you're effectively forcing a high-cost energy form onto them and removing a lower-cost form of energy. I think it's bad policy, and it's one that I think that and I'm not a partisan, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm disgusted, Senator.
Yeah,
but when you look at what the Democrats are pushing, it is almost all regressive policy when it comes to energy.
Yep. Yeah, that dose of humanism, of realism. These are real people with real jobs who are now paying high energy costs, and it's going to impact them. So they won't have enough money to feed their children because the gasoline prices are higher as well. So thank you so much for your time, all the witnesses, and I yield back.
Thank you, sir.
Senator Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And